Alright, Shalom Akim. I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kodash, for giving me the spirit and the time to do this lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying to the hopeful elect. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, great millstone who rule well, the leaders of all Israel in these end times, the real prophets of these end times sent by Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, to give us the correct way to salvation. And Shalom to you, brothers on the highways and hedges, teaching this truth in all sincerity and in truth. And shalom to you, Akwaf in order, that may be watching, and shalom to you, Israelites scattered abroad, that may look like these other nations, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom. Shalom means peace be unto you. Right. So, if in case you haven't heard, you know, you got Salakia, you got ICE that have just murdered these ICE terrorist thugs. This one you see on the screen in particular, right? Happens to have his mask off. But yeah, he shot a woman, which, you know, we perceive to be an Edomite. And it's caused one hell of an uproar in Babylon the Great, aka America, man. And you know, this just goes to show, this proves the times we're headed into, the time of Jacob's trouble. And you know, America's a mess right now. You know, ICE is like this whole new militarized police force, this basically running around terrorizing the tribes, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and anybody that tries to help you. You know, it don't matter if it's their own people. You know, you can catch it too if you get in their way, because they're on a mission. They're on a warpath to persecute Jacob. You know, and this is all orchestrated by the Lord. And we're going to prove, I'm going to prove this in this, you know, in this lesson. Lord willing, this, you know, straight to the point, not all over the place. I've got a few clips I want to play, a couple of precepts. And that's that. But, you know, to start off with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the video of the incident, okay, just to get you an understanding as to what's going on, what this lesson's about, okay? Check this out, man, because this is what's going on right now in Babylon the Great, and it's causing an uproar, okay?
Dramatic video purportedly shows the moment an ICE agent fatally opened fire on a woman in Minneapolis, who DHS says attempted to barrel her SUV into the path of an officer. As multiple angles of the incident have emerged and gone viral across the internet, users are left divided on whether or not the agent's actions were reckless or in self-defense. In the footage, ICE officers order the driver out of the vehicle after she blocked the path of their truck. But as one of the agents attempts to open the door, she quickly throws the car into reverse before trying to speed forward in the direction of another agent in her path. After the vehicle narrowly misses the agent, he fires 3 shots before the car crashes into a white sedan parked nearby on the side of the street. Hundreds of protesters have gathered at the scene, which the city of Minneapolis has identified as the intersection of East 34th Street and Portland Avenue.
This is f***ing ridiculous! You don't protect people!
In the wake of the viral incident, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem described the officers' actions as defensive and called the incident an act of domestic terrorism during a press conference.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse.
So let me just pause it right there. This woman, Kristi Noem, right? It's part of the Trump administration, right? The terrorist organization, a Nazi organization. And basically she's saying that the woman that got murdered by the thug, the ICE agent, she's saying that the woman was a domestic terrorist, man. That's how easy they will label you as a domestic terrorist if you're just trying to flee from the scene. You know what I mean? When they're trying to apprehend you and you try to flee, that's enough to consider you. Basically, if you resist them whatsoever, you're considered a domestic terrorism, because that's, you know, that's exactly what went on in this incident. The lady didn't. You'll see. You know, I'm going to prove it because we've got still images, slowed down clips, all sorts, man, just showing you every angle of what happened, and you can clearly see. Your eyes are not deceiving you. You can clearly see. Salakia, that the woman was just trying to flee the scene, man, and now she's being labeled a domestic terrorist. Okay, and that's because Esau is basically going on a defensive. Okay, let me run that back slightly.
Act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted.
So that's the narrative they're running with. She attempted it was attempted murder on a federal official, right? That's the story they're running with, and you'll see for yourself, man, that these people are natural born liars. We're gonna bring it out, man.
An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased.
Democratic Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, however, furiously denounced this narrative in a passionate press conference of his own.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis.
DHS Assistant Secretary.
So, as you can clearly see, Babylon the Great is divided, man. Just like the Lord said he would do. You know, this is prophecy being fulfilled right before your eyes, man. You know, and there's many other examples, but this is just another case of Babylon the Great, the Lord setting the Egyptians against the Egyptians, okay? And we've brought that out many times. Lord willing, I might bring that out in just a minute.
For Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin said in a statement, "This is an evolving situation, and we will give the public more information as soon as it becomes available."
So there you have it. So that's the latest. That's what's that's part of the dramatics going on in Babylon the Great, okay? Like every day it's something new. It's just hard to keep up with, but this is a very important event because this is turning the hearts of the people to revolt against to enact sedition against their government, man. Just like the scriptures say in the book of 2nd Esdras, you know. But you know, the woman shouldn't have been there in the first place, getting involved in all that, you know, because if you was a godly woman of the Lord, you wouldn't be out there getting involved in all that, you know, because that's not our business, okay? And this is why, you know, us of the hopeful elect that know what's going on, we're in the safe zone, man, okay? We don't concern ourselves with the affairs of this life. And we understand that when ICE is out there harassing people and separating families, that's judgment. That's not our fight, you know? It sucks. You know, it's hard to watch when we see these videos of ICE doing what they're doing, but we got to leave them to it and let the Lord do his thing, because ultimately this is the Lord doing his thing, man, because you people had fair warning, but you all scoffed. You've all heard the gospel. You've all heard about the Hebrew Israelites, and you scoffed. You think we're false prophets. You think we're hate preachers, and you're going to have to pay for that, man. Okay, at the end of the day, this is your judgment. This is Romans 13, starting at 1. It says, "Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High." So these ICE agents are a part of the Lord's judgment, okay? So don't interfere with their work. They're doing what they got to do, all right, to fulfill the wrath of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, man. Verse 2, "Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of the Most High. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation." Okay, 2 to the head. 3 bullets to the head or whatever it was, man. That's what that woman got. That was her damnation for resisting the powers, okay? Should have just, hey, you ain't getting away, okay? At the end of the day, if ICE is after you trying to detain you, hey, just let them do their thing, okay? Otherwise, it could end ugly, just like that woman. What happened to that woman, man? Verse 3, it says, "For the rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain." Okay, because that's Esau's blessing, man. And he is itching to use that sword. Okay, he loves that sword. He has no problem shedding your blood, okay? Because he knows he wasn't attacked with that car. He knows in himself that that woman was trying to escape, okay? But his initial response was to give you 3 to the head, man. And he had no qualms about it. He didn't feel sorry about it. He just kind of, walked away casually, We'll get into it. I'll show you a few more clips, a couple angles and all that. But let me read that again, right? Verse 4, it says, "For he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good." Okay, so, the law enforcement, they'll do good if you show respect. They can be a bit rude, cocky. They can be obnoxious. They can be violent at times. They can be unfair. But normally, they're going to treat you well if they see, hey, this guy's not like other people. I misjudged him. When they realize that, because I've had that happen to me at times, you got to understand the scripture. You got to lean upon the script, what the scriptures say, because the scriptures say that those whose ways please the Lord, he'll make even his enemies to be at peace with him. Roughly paraphrasing, right? So if you're doing what's pleasing in the Lord's eyes and you're behaving in a wise manner, he's going to have these your enemies be at peace with you at the end of the day, man. Let me read that from the top again. Romans 13:4. It says, "For he is the minister of the Most High unto thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain." Esau will kill your ass, man. Okay? Excuse my language. It says, "For he is the minister of the Most High, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil." Okay, so you get the point, man. Straightforward and to the point. Let's bring out another video clip, right? Because this is causing quite the uproar, man. Okay, as you see on the screen, this is the guy. Okay, you see no remorse in his eyes. That's a cold-blooded, murderous Edomite. Okay. Now, this is the response. This is one of the responses of a woman that is trying to justify the ICE agent. So basically, MAGA has got America divided, because basically the American government is the Ku Klux Klan, and they're basically taking off their hoods and said, yeah, this is me. What are you going to do about it? Because Esau's coming down having great wrath, because he knows that he has a short time. Revelations 12:12, right?
Need to stop using their vehicles as weapons. People need to stop using their vehicles as weapons. This domestic act of terrorism to use your vehicle to try to kill law enforcement officers is going to stop. And I'm asking the Department of Justice to prosecute it as domestic terrorism, because it's clear that it's being coordinated. People are being trained and told how to use their vehicles to impede law enforcement operations, and then to run over anybody who gets in their way while they go out there and try to disrupt peace and public safety. And Americans deserve better.
I love that kid at the end. Whoever that kid was, man, give him a chocolate bar or something. Buy him an ice cream, man. That was funny. He said, "Shut the F up." Hey, America's divided as hell. You even got the kids telling these government officials to shut the F up, because they know they're lying, man. And they have no problem lying. Let's bring it out, man. Okay, because this is the Edomite we're talking about here, man. And we've done warned you many a times what this Edomite's about. And you people out there are going to have to learn the hard way, man. Alright? It says in Psalms 58:3, it says, "The wicked, which is Esau Edom, are estranged from the womb. Okay, they're off as soon as they're born, meaning they're born crooked. Okay, this is what this is saying in a nutshell, man. It says they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. See, these people go astray as soon as they're born, man. They're born wicked, and they're natural born liars. Okay, because they're the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, and you're witnessing it firsthand. They're lying through their teeth. They're trying to tell you that your eyes didn't see what it saw, man. Anyway, I want to quickly play that last bit again. That made me chuckle. One sec. just in case you didn't hear it, man. Listen to this kid at the end.
And public safety, and Americans deserve better.
I can't get enough of that, boy. That kid made me laugh. Shut the F up. That's how everyone's feeling right now toward the Edomite, man. But that sounded like an Edomite kid, okay? A little spoiled brat. Outspoken as hell. He said, shut the F up. Even the Edomites are divided against each other, man. Egyptian versus Egyptian.
Shame! 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 Shame!
So that guy that was walking off, that's the one that shot. He doesn't seem remorseful in any way. Apparently he got hit by the car and had to go to the hospital, is what they're saying, which is part of their lies. Okay, does this look like a man that's injured, that was fearing for his life and had an attempted murder on him? Check him out, man. He's walking fine. He's just trying to get away because obviously he's, just killed someone.
You! Shame! 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 No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking god! What the fuck? What the fuck? You just You!
Bro, that's pure chaos in Babylon the Great, man. Okay, this is causing a hell of an uproar. Check it out, man.
You are fucking criminals! You're fucking criminals! What the fuck? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? You are fucking insane! What did you do? You! Shame! 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 What's happening to her? What happened?
Babylon is through. Alright, I don't know if they're gonna give me a strike for that. I'm gonna leave that there, but that's what's going down. Let's just check out a couple responses, right?
Of Minneapolis,
You
news coming out of Minneapolis is horrific. This is one part of what has been a year full of cruelty. And we know that when ICE agents attack immigrants, they attack every single one of us across this country. And this is a city and will always be a city that stands up for immigrants across the 5 boroughs. And I have made it clear to everyone within my city government, and that extends to NYPD, that we are going to uphold our sanctuary city policies. We are going to adhere to them.
So that's, Esau's government is divided, man. They're saying they're not listening to ICE. They want them out of their city. They're gonna protect the immigrants. So this kingdom's divided, and if a kingdom is divided, it cannot stand, man. Okay, the scriptures speak about that also. All right, but Anyway, let me continue. I've got a few more clips I want to play.
In a press conference, Governor Walz pointed out that this was predictable, that someone was going to get killed from this use of excessive force in American cities for reasons that are extremely dubious by the Trump administration. He said, "We do not need any help from the federal government," and called in Minnesota National Guard. When was the last time a U.S. state had to protect itself from the federal government?
I mean, this has been one of the grimmest realities of this entire year, which is that the president of the United States clearly views himself not as the president of the entire nation, which is the position he occupies. It's the only position, along with vice president, that is elected by the entire nation and represents every person of this country as an equal, right? You're the representative. He views himself as the president of the country of MAGA, and he views any municipality, locality, state, or territory that is not within his political coalition as a that he needs to occupy, subdue, punish, and discipline.
Just this week, they cut off $10 billion in aid to strictly blue states, 5 blue states, because evidently poor children have to be denied food for him to get his way.
Yes, and so unfortunately we've seen this now, and to the point that the governor made. This is, I think, the 9th ICE shooting this year. ICE shot a woman multiple times in Chicago, and I think this is actually very important context. During their Operation Midway Blitz, I believe it was actually CBP or ICE, DHS officials shot a woman in a car multiple times. They claim that she shot them. They apprehended, arrested her, and were going to press charges, except guess what? They had to drop the charges because they were lying about what happened in the incident. So there is now a clear record. It's happened in Los Angeles, it's happened in Chicago, it's happened in Washington, D.C., where they failed to secure a conviction against the guy.
Hey, Esau's off the chain, man. You know, he said, F it, man. I'm not effing around anymore. I'm gonna show you who I am. I'm the devil, okay? Just like we've been saying. You know, I'm surprised you scoffers out there ain't flocking to us right now, because everything we've been saying is coming to pass, okay? But, you know, as you can clearly see, America is divided as hell, and ICE is out there on a murdering spree. They're a rogue organization, okay? Let's just bring out Ezekiel chapter, Ezekiel 7, and we're going to start at 5, read through 9. It says, "Thus saith the Lord power, and evil, and only evil, behold, is come." So that's the times we're living in right now. It's talking about now, man. We're living in an evil time. And you better brace yourself, because you haven't seen nothing yet. We're only just starting 2026. And by the end of this year, boy, I wouldn't be surprised if teaching season's over, man. And all hell breaks loose. Because it's speeding up rapidly, these plagues that the Lord is sending, man. Verse 6, it says, "An end is come. The end is come. It watcheth for thee, behold, it is come. The morning is come unto thee, O thou that dwellest in the land. The time is come, the day of trouble is near." That's the time of Jacob's trouble, right? So it says the day of trouble is near, verse 7, right? It says, "And not the sounding again of the mountains." It says in verse 8, Now I will shortly pour out my fury upon thee, and accomplish mine anger upon thee. I will judge thee according to thy ways. I will recompense thee for all thine abominations. So the Lord ain't messing about, okay? It's judgment time, man. And all of you that ain't right with the Lord, you're doing what you want to do. You're living life without rules. You think that you can just do what you want. You're about to F around and find out, man. Okay? Because that woman that got shot by that ICE agent, she was a lesbo, okay? And she had her girlfriend, you know, it's kind of crazy me even saying that, you know, but this is the world we live in. This is reality we live in, okay? But the Lord ain't messing about, you know. She had a girlfriend in the car with her when she got bucked in the head 3 times, man, okay? So verse 9, it says, "Mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. I will recompense thee according to thy ways, and thine abominations that are in the midst of thee. And ye shall know that I am Yahweh that smiteth." Okay, so the Lord is the one that's doing all this. The Lord is sending plagues. You know, we're in an evil time. Okay, and he has set up Donald Trump over you Babylonians, man. Okay, let's bring that out, because Donald Trump is mentioned in the Holy Bible as the cruel Lord in the book of Isaiah chapter 19 and starting at 2. It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, so they're divided. The modern day Egyptians are the Americans, okay, or what the Bible calls Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, or Babylon the Great, as well as many other names for America in the Bible. But one of them is the Egyptians, and the Lord said he's going to set them against each other, okay? So it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's what you're seeing, man, all right? And it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. That's why they're screaming, make America great again. Hence their slogan, man, MAGA. Okay, because they know that the spirit of America has failed. They want that old spirit back. They want to make America great again, okay? But this time is evil, and only evil, behold, is come. It's the end. It don't get no better for America, okay? Until it's wiped clean off this earth by thermonuclear fire, man. Let me read it from the top again, Isaiah 19 and 3, and it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. So people are going to be looking to all these idols, Caesar Borgia, which, you know, the Christian church calls Jesus Christ. That's an idol, okay? Because that's not the true Son of the Most High. And if you're calling on Jesus in these times, you're calling on an idol. And the Lord says he's going to let you run to them idols, man. Okay? Because they're not going to help you in your time of distress. Okay? So verse 4 says, and the Egyptians will I give... let me read that from the top again. Verse 4 it says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. Right? Which is Donald Trump. Nero. Back in the reincarnation, Emperor Nero, man. And it says, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of armies. So that's what's happening, man. Okay? And you ain't going to find out this information that you need to know through Christianity. They ain't got the answers, man. They're leaving you in the dark, okay? You need to cleave to the ones that have the truth. All right, Salakia, I'm back. I had to get back to work. Basically, I was on the plantation when I was recording earlier, so I'm gonna have to continue this lesson in a separate part. But you know, Lord willing, get back in the spirit, get back to where I was at. So what I'm gonna do is show you more reactions as a result of what happened when that woman got shot, because, you know, like I've been saying, you know, this has caused a major uproar in America, and, you know, the heart of Egypt has failed, man. You know, these people understand that America's cooked. It's erupted into chaos, man.
Shot and killed today. And
Nothing will be the same after.
Watch the woman get shot and killed today. And whether you believe the ICE officer was acting in self-defense or not, nobody deserves to have their life taken away from them for fleeing a scene and driving away. I don't care whether or not you think the ICE officer was acting in self-defense. No person deserves to get their life taken away, get shot and killed in broad daylight for trying to flee a scene. It's unacceptable. Donald Trump has created a level of panic, a level of terror in this country that is unacceptable. And his statement on what happened was absolutely disgusting, because The officer moved out of the way.
Yeah, everyone's upset. Everyone's angry about this in America, man. And you got your typical, a lot of the typical Edomites are doubling down on their wickedness, man. You know, they're cheering it on. They're saying that she shouldn't have tried to run over the officer, and they're on Trump's side. It's divided as hell. You know, and although we know, you know, who was in the right, who was in the wrong, that's none of it. Hey, this ain't our fight, man. We'll let them have at it, because you had your warning, you know. You had your warning, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. And the only place safe in the times we're living in is among us, among this circle, man. Okay? Call it a hate group, call it a gang, call it whatever you want. We'll see in the end, all right? Because the end of us is peace. The end of you lot is death, all right? You lot outside there getting involved, living your life, you know what I mean? Thinking that you got time. No. The Lord is judging this place, man. You better recognize it for what it is, because I promise you it's only going to get worse, all right? Let's turn to the scriptures again. I want to turn to the book of, the book of Sirach, chapter 18. No, it's 8. Sirach 8 and 16. All right. It says, strive not with an angry man, and go not with him into a solitary place, for blood is as nothing in his sight, and where there is no help, he will overthrow thee. So, you know, this angry man is Esau, okay? And if you strive with him, you know, you challenge him, or, you know, you flee from evil and make yourself a prey, you know, you want to challenge him and his wickedness, hey, he will mow you down, okay? This is the devil we're talking about, and the only place safe is among the congregation of the saints, okay? This is a small sanctuary we have right here, us of the hopeful elect. And we don't have no fear of these things happening to us. And, you know, upon, you know, after, you know, I was finishing my job and everything, you know, after recording the first part of this lesson, I came to find out that that woman that got shot, she actually lived in that street, you know? She wasn't out there. I don't think she was out there getting involved. I think she was waving traffic on because she had just left her house or something. And apparently she just, you know, she got caught up in the crossfire, basically. You know? Because I guess ICE thought she was, you know, ICE. The thing about these Edomites, they get overexcited. They get excited very easy, okay? And they are bloodthirsty. And when they're on one like that, you need to stay out their way, especially when they think they have power. You know, because Trump is pardoning the hell out of them, okay? Every time they do something wicked, Trump is pardoning them. Most of the people that did that, what was it, January 6th, when the insurrection upon the Capitol, you know, when they did that, Trump pardoned a lot of them. And, you know, most of them that he pardoned ended up being sex offenders and murderers and all sorts of stuff, man. They were just, yeah, Trump's a villain. Trump is a goon, man, okay? You better see him for what he really is. That's the cruel Lord, okay? Like we brought out in the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 2 through 4. That's the cruel Lord, man, okay? You can't strive with an angry man like that. He's angry because he don't have long left to rule. Revelations 12 and 12. He's come down having great wrath. So if you're striving with an angry man like that, it says, strive not with an angry man, and go not with him into a solitary place. It says, for blood is as nothing in his sight. Don't get too close to this devil, in other words, man. You know, blood is as nothing in his sight. Okay, it says, And where there is no help, he will overthrow thee. And right now, you know, you 2/3 don't have help. So, you know, if you're not within this protective circle, this ministry, then, you know, you're out there with no help. And he's going to overthrow you because the Lord ain't with you. All right. Now, you know, another precept that comes to mind that proves that this man is the angry man that the scriptures is talking about, Esau, Edom. Let's turn to the book of Isaiah 14, right? It says, and we'll start at 5. It says, Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Okay, so these people are through, these rulers, their time is up. You know, everybody sees that they're not noble. You know, they're coming out of power, okay? And in a nutshell, basically, right? Because the Lord has taken away their nobility. Everyone's seeing them for who they are now. It says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. Okay, so this is going into what the Lord is getting ready to do to them. Okay, because the Lord is getting ready to visit these devils, man. You know, he's already started, but it's gonna ramp up, you know. And he smote the people in wrath, you know, his rulership, you know, he's just an angry ruler. It says he rules the nations in anger, right? So right now he's being persecuted. Everyone's turning against this devil. He's fumbling his kingdom, everything. He's got a lot on his plate, you know, and that's a title for a lesson right there. Esau has a lot on his plate. But, you know, he's being persecuted and none hindereth. No one's coming to this devil's rescue. Everyone's hoping this man falls at this point, especially us of the hopeful elect, because we recognize who this man is. The Lord said that the man of sin had to be revealed before the return of the Lord. And now he's revealing himself with ease. You know, he's doing it. We barely even got to bring out the gospel. This man's revealing himself. He's showing you he's the devil. Right? But the point is that, you know, he's ruling the nations in anger. So he's that angry man. Don't strive with an angry man like that, man. Comply, okay? You know, you gotta walk wisely in these times we're living in, because this man is evil, okay? Let's bring that out. It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and 15. It says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So recognize the times you live in, man, and walk wisely, circumspectly. You know, some say to keep your head on a swivel, meaning to look around, man. Be observant, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of what's going on in the world. Don't be in la la land, so to speak, right? Pay attention, okay? There's a lot going on in this world, and if you ain't on your guard, you're gonna be caught slipping. So walk circumspectly, be wise, don't be a fool, all right? This is what the scripture is saying, man. All right? Let's go to Isaiah 13. And verse 11. And the Lord says in Isaiah 13:11, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, right? So all you people that belong to the world, the masses, the sheeple, the people that are walking around like fools, distracted with all kinds of stuff that don't matter. You ain't paying attention what really matters. You're a fool. You're fools, man. And the Lord said he's punishing the world for their evil. Okay? Because even though you in your eyes think you're a good person, that ain't the way the Lord sees things, man. You're evil. You're either good well, I wouldn't say good, but you're either among the the righteous, or you're among the wicked. There's no in-betweens. And it says, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked, the Edomites, for their iniquity. So they ain't getting away with all that they're doing, terrorizing the earth, stealing countries and resources, being racist as hell, forming militias and white supremacist groups. They're the wicked, man. Okay, and anyway, it says, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, because these devils are proud as hell. And the Lord's going to lay down that pride, man. The Lord is about to cook up something beautiful for these proud individuals in this world. It says, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. And the terrible one is Esau. He's a bloody man. He's a boy, he's the terrorist of the earth, man. Okay, let's bring out a clip or two and then we'll go back to the scriptures. Hold on, we'll come back to that one. I want to see some more reactions.
Shoot people now. ICE agents can
Watch the woman.
Nothing will be the same after today because ICE can shoot people now. ICE agents can now shoot American citizens. And a lot of people say, well, this was just a one-time thing. It was just a standalone action by one ICE agent. No, this has set a new precedent. ICE can fire at American civilians now, American citizens, because Kristi Noem of the Department of Homeland Security, she's saying that the ICE agents were threatened, that this was self-defense, that the lady was trying to run them over with her car. That's been verified untrue by every single angle of video footage. Anybody that has eyes can just watch the video and know they're lying to you. But people who don't watch the video and just pay attention to her tweets, they'll believe the corrupt Trump administration. Donald Trump says the woman was a paid agitator, that she was intentionally trying to cause havoc and trouble. It's also not true. There's no evidence for that. The only evidence we know about her was that she was 37 years old, a widow, had a child. So it's absolutely disgusting what we're seeing. But now,
Cry me a river, man. You know, at the end of the day, yeah, we know Trump and his whole administration is wicked as hell, right? And we're not necessarily on their side like that, but in another sense we are. We're cheering it on because we understand that this is prophecy, okay? And we understand that this means that we're closer to the end. And these devils are going in chains, okay? So let them keep being evil, because they're only marching straight into prophecy, okay? And marching headfirst into slavery. And we can't wait, okay? So we welcome, Trump being a demon, okay? Because it's judgment time for you devils, man. The Lord is going to lay low the haughtiness of you terrible Edomites, because you are a proud nation of people and you need to be brought low. And you 2/3 and you wicked Eves, man. You so-called black women, okay? You're the worst out of all the tribes, and I'm not saying all of you, because if the shoe fits. And you of the hopeful elect, that the shoe don't fit you. We ain't talking about you. We love our women that are in order. But you demons out there, boy. Okay, boy. The things we've seen in this truth, it's really opened up our eyes, man. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, let's see another reaction. Let's check out this guy right here.
Lost her life today.
Why do you think the Trump administration is so...
To the lady who lost her life today by the hands of ICE agents in Minneapolis should serve as no surprise to anybody. Ladies and gentlemen, these ICE agents are no better than the German SS officers from the 1930s. That's not hyperbole. That's not dramatics. That's not thematics. Let me explain something to you. You have armed men and women showing up in unmarked vehicles without name tags, jumping out of their cars with rifles in their hands, snatching people off of the road, and you don't think That won't cause a degree of radicalism to happen in the minds of the American people? To see your mother be snatched from you? To see your grandparents be snatched from you who have committed no crime other than seeking a better life in this country?
Yeah, these Americans.
What type of stuff is that?
These Americans are losing their minds.
The lady who lost her life today was trying to leave. And this ICE officer decided to take her life. And the sad part about all of this is the excuse the Trump administration was looking for to take drastic measures. Y'all thought it's been bad. We ain't seen shit yet.
You damn sure ain't. We've been trying to say, hey, what we've been saying. You know, you gonna learn the hard way, or you stubborn Israelites. You know. Let's see.
We saw today. What we saw today was a criminal murder a woman and shoot her in the head while she was trying to escape and flee for her life. And I think what we saw today was a manifestation of every American's worst nightmare, which is their government turning into a tyranny.
Do you believe he should be arrested, the officer involved?
I think what we saw was a murder today, and I think that we need, of course.
You said that she was fleeing for her life. Do you know that she was fleeing?
I think we saw this vehicle, and listen, part of a due process is to allow an investigation of what transpired and what occurred. I think what we saw was a woman trying to reverse her vehicle and leave a scene.
That's true. That's exactly what happened. You know, but you know, these devils ain't seeing it that way because they're just a hateful bunch of people, man. You know, we've been trying to warn you this man is the devil, you know. Now, you do have your odd Edomite that, you know, ain't as bad as the rest. Could be a Jake. But, you know, they're all going into slavery where they belong. Okay, because these people, they're no good. They're no good for this earth. They're proud. They're racist as hell. A good majority of them, if not all of them, because, you know, that goes back to that ancient hatred, man, that perpetual hatred that the Bible talks about. They'll never like us as a nation, okay? Now, you do have a few scriptures speak about how, you know, his children shall seek to please the poor. And you know, that's what you're seeing in a lot of these protests and uproars of the people. You got them defending the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans because they see they're full of shame. You know, they see that their people, how their people are, and how wicked they are, and they're ashamed. So they want to do something to try and, you know, sort of ease their conscience of the wickedness of their people, man. You know, some of them might have even heard that, you know, we're the Israelites and we're the Lord's chosen people. So they're here trying to make sure that they don't get the worst jobs in the kingdom. They get a bit of slack when they're in chains. OK, so that, hey, some of them might be out there for that purpose. But either way, you know. Right. I want to turn to a scripture. First, actually, let me read this, right? It says, this is the photo of the ICE agent. You see the lady is clearly in the other direction, and he's still shooting at this point. It says, photo of an ICE agent. Photo of an ICE agent shooting and killing a woman in Minnesota. And then it has the date. It says, this is a quote by George Orwell in 1984. It says, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. You know, and that's what's happening. You know, they're telling you you didn't see what you saw. What you can clearly see even in this image. Does he look like his life is in danger? He actually was stepping toward the car to shoot her because his ego was hurt. These Edomites have a fragile ego and they are very sore losers. And he'll be damned if he's going to have her escape him. You know, because that's how they get down. They're bloodthirsty, okay? And since they love blood, you know, blood is going to pursue them. Let's bring that out, actually. Sith blood. That's all I need to type. This is Ezekiel. We're going to start at 2. No, I'm just going to start from the top, man. We're going to read through 6. Because this is talking about the Edomite, so-called white man. It says, Ezekiel 35, starting at 1. It says, Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. So that's what we're doing. That's our job, is to prophesy against Mount Seir, which is the Edomites. Okay, we set our face against them, and we're prophesying against them. We ain't on their side. We don't love them. We hate them. And it says, And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. Okay, so the Lord is going to destroy America and destroy the Edomite, slap the rest of them that remain in chains, and they're going to clean up this world and build our walls, build our cities and stuff, okay? It says, And I will lay the cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. The Lord in all caps is Yahweh. Okay? That's his name. So you're going to know that name by the time all is said and done. Because we're the only ones that, the prophets are the only ones bringing out that name. And everything we've been saying under that name is coming to pass. And by the time all is said and done, you're going to know who the prophets were, who the Lord's chosen were. And you're going to know everything that you need to know. It says in verse 5, it says, Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh power, the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood. Right? So the Lord is preparing these devils unto blood. That's why you got World War III brewing up. You got ICE agents that are getting ready to slap you in prisons when society collapses, because that's the militarized police that the Lord has formed to get it popping, right? You got to see things for what it is. This is the work of the Lord that's happening in these end times. Okay, it ain't no marching or protesting gonna fix that, right? It says, Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel. Actually, let me start at 6 again. It says, Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Okay? To pursue means to give chase. So you're not going to escape it. Okay? It says, Sith, meaning since thou hast not hated blood, right? Because these are a bloodthirsty nation of people, as you saw in that video. So since they don't hate blood, they love blood. It says, even blood shall pursue thee. So you best understand that your payback is coming. You ain't escaping that, you devils, man. Okay, the whole world is sick of you. Right? Let's quickly prove that. Right? Because that's prophecy also. Here we go. Let's just read verse 2. Actually, let's start at 1. This is Obadiah 1:1. It says, The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom, you so-called white people, starting with your elites. It says, We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Right? The ambassador that's sent among the heathen is the prophets. It says, Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. See? And I'm going to leave it there, okay? There's a lot more we could go into in this, but that's the point, man. You are greatly despised in these end times. No one likes you devils, man. Yeah, it's not a good time to be an Edomite, okay? Right? And if you were wise, you would if you were wise, I'm talking to you, you Israelites now, you would flee from these people, separate from them, and you would come into this truth, to the knowledge of the truth. Repent, right? Repent means to be sorrowful for living in a selfish way, for living in a way that's, displeasing to the Lord, living how you want to live, doing wicked things in the sight of the Lord. Now's the time to get serious and get your stuff together. If there was ever a time for you to get right with the Lord, it's now, man. And that's why we do these lessons, okay? So let's turn to the book of Proverbs. We're going to wrap this up in just a sec, right? Chapter 22 and verse 3. It says, a prudent man, right, a wise man, foreseeth the evil, right? So you can tell what time you're in. You can see evil is coming, right? A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. You hide yourself in the secret place of the Lord, which is this small sanctuary. There's only a few of us, compared to the population of the masses. There's only a few of us in the knowledge of this truth. But this is a safe place. So the prudent man foreseeth the evil, hideth himself. It says, but the simple, you idiots, pass on and are punished. Okay? So all you people out there protesting, getting involved with ICE and all that, you think you're doing it for a good cause, right? Which, we understand. Because if we wasn't in this truth, we'd probably be doing the same thing. But fortunately for us, the Lord blessed us with the eyesight to see, what's really going on. Who's who, what's what. And we understand our purpose in this earth. And it's not to get involved in these protests and stuff. There ain't no fix in this place. You're striving against the Lord if you're, trying to fix this place in your own way. Okay? You just got to trust in the Lord. Be patient. The Lord has already written how it's going down, what's gonna happen. So don't get caught up in, the wrong side of prophecy, man. Anyway, right? So it goes into being prudent and, being circumspect. You just got to understand the times you're living in and understand what you got to do to live through this. Because most of these people that you see around you will be dead soon, okay? 2 Esdras 9 and 22 says that let the multitude perish which was born in vain. Most of these people were born in vain, and judgment's going to find them one way or another, man. And the Lord is setting up all types of ways for people to get judged in these end times, but the ultimate judgment will come from them nukes. Because there will be a nuclear holocaust, man. That's what we're headed to. That's what we're marching toward. But us of the hopeful elect, we're in the safe space. We ain't got to worry about feeling that heat. Okay. Let's turn to the book of 2 Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 12. Actually, I'm going to start up at 10. Right? 2 Esdras 15 and 10, it says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. The Lord's people is possessive. It doesn't mean everybody or anybody that calls on Jesus or anybody that's packed in a Christian church on Sunday. Nah, man, don't get it twisted. The Lord's people is a specific seed line. Okay? The chosen seed line. So it says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter, because we're not in our own land. We don't have no sovereignty. We're under our oppressors, and we have to go to them in want of all things. And they're about to wage a nuclear war, and we're here behind enemy lines, defenseless, man. So, that's why the Lord is going to intervene for those that trust in him. He's going to protect them. Okay, because we're led as a flock of sheep to the slaughter, defenseless, man. While this man is about to blow up the world, basically, in a nutshell. Right? So let me read that from the top again. 2 Esdras 15:10, it says, "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt." See, this ain't talking about ancient Egypt. This is talking about the modern day Egypt, America, because that's where the main deliverance is going to be. In verse 11, it says, "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before," proving that this ain't the same Egypt when Pharaoh had us in captivity. He says he's going to do it again, basically. He's going to smite Egypt, which modern day Egypt is America. You can check the symbology on the dollar bill, on the $1 bill in America, because the elites know that America is modern day Egypt or spiritual Egypt. And the Lord says he's going to smite Egypt with plagues as before. And that's what's happening. That's why you got ice, baby. You know, that's why they're terrorizing everyone, because that's part of the plagues of the Lord, man. He says, and will destroy all the land thereof. And we've been proclaiming from the rooftops, prophesying for, you know, the elders and the apostles before us for years have been prophesying that America's going to be destroyed by nuclear fire. And now it's starting to come into fruition. You know, as people are starting to see that that's where we're headed. Right? It's undeniable now. Scoffers ain't scoffing like they used to. That's a title for another lesson too. The scoffers ain't scoffing like they used to, man. Right? Anyway, verse 12, 2 Esdras 15:12, it says, "Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it." Now, we ain't going to read. Actually, we'll jump down to 14 in a sec. But I want to show you an example of Egypt mourning, man.
On Minnesota right now. Why do you think the Trump administration is so fixated on Minnesota right now?
Well, I wish I knew. I mean, I wish they would just leave it alone. I mean, seriously. What is the, when do things stop being about politics and start being about actual human decency? And so, I mean, I'm sure we can all hypothesize on what all of their political reasons are. But meanwhile, a woman died being shot in her car. And everything that they are doing is making it worse and not better.
See, Trump is the chosen one to get the job done, man. He's the one that's going to bring about, a lot of these prophecies that we're reading, because Egypt, America, is mourning right now. And not only are they divided, but all hell is breaking loose in America, and people are panicking because they know they're not getting the old America back when things were sweet. So check this other version of, ICE terrorizing people, and these people obviously didn't agree with the adversary like they should have. If they had applied the scriptures to their life, they wouldn't be in this predicament more than likely, or it wouldn't be as bad. It wouldn't turn out as bad. Anyway, let me go ahead and put the sound on. I'll play it again.
I want to show you.
Do me a favor and turn off your video. You're detained right now, so you're not free to record. No, we are free to record.
Yeah, we're free to record.
You're detained right now, so you're
No, we're not detained. They haven't told us we're detained.
They didn't say nothing about it. I'm telling you right now, you're
No,
detained.
we're not detained. Nope.
Look. I got that too on recording already. And you are not allowed to do this.
They're not detained.
Get off the phone. Turn the phone off. Say it again.
Hey. Mira. Mira.
Hang on one second. If you hurt us, we'll put it on lock.
Yeah.
Put your hands here.
Come on.
Come on. You want to go in cuffs? Come on. Come on. Hey. What?
Yeah, come on. All right.
Put your hands up. Interfere. Put your hands up. Put your hands up.
Look at this bootlicking Negro right here, man. You ought to be ashamed of yourself if you're a so-called black or a so-called Mexican in ICE, man. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. That's why the Lord gonna destroy everyone in that land, man. You all gotta go, okay?
Dale, here. No le enseñes aquí, puta madre, ¿qué? No le enseñes aquí, ¿o qué? No le enseñes aquí. Stop moving around. No le enseñes aquí, ¿o qué? You understand? Why are you picking my phone with?
So, and don't end well for you Americans, man. You know, you have no idea what's going on, what the Lord is cooking up.
Let me be clear.
You know, people.
Let me be clear. If any law enforcement agent, any ICE agent, is going to come to Philly to commit crimes, then you can get the F out of here. Because if you do that here, I will charge you with those crimes. You will be arrested. You will stand trial. You will be convicted, whether it's in state or federal court. It's my office prosecuting it. That's how the law works. And you will do your time because Donald Trump cannot pardon you for a state court conviction. Do you hear me, ICE agents? Do you hear me, National Guard? Do you hear me, military? You're going to jail if you commit crimes in the city of Philadelphia. You will be accountable. The law applies to all of you. And I know that there are honest, decent, moral law enforcement officers out there by the bushel, including in ICE. This is not for you. This is for any one of your colleagues who thinks they are above the law.
You know what's funny is that they wouldn't be putting this up this much of a fuss if it was a so-called black or a so-called Mexican woman or a so-called Native American woman that got shot by ICE like that. Because that's happened. You know, you've had Filipinos, you've had all sorts of different races of people. You've had a Ethiopian. You've had all types of people that have been shot by or killed by ICE in one way or another, but there was never an outrage like this when it came to them, you know. But when it happens to a so-called white woman, that's when they start, you know, kicking off. That's when they start getting really upset and like, oh no, now you've crossed the line, and they all want to get up there and start speaking out, protesting, getting in an uproar, you know. But it is what it is, you know, because this is Esau's kingdom, and he don't give a damn about you tribes or anyone that has melanin in their skin. For that, you know, at that, you know, he anyway, you know. Boy, we're living in some crazy times, but exciting at the same time, you know. You gotta be strong to make it through the times we're coming into. Right? Let's bring out another video. Let's see.
We can go I want to show you something. We can go frame by frame on this one. Keep an eye on this guy, the cold-blooded murderer, who's no doubt going to claim that he was afraid that his life was in danger, or whatever. For someone who's going to no doubt claim that, he sure doesn't seem to be in any hurry to move out of the way. See, here you can see that instead of moving out of the way, he actually decides to draw his weapon and actually plant himself more firmly. In fact, he's leaning over the hood of the car right now, on purpose. If you go frame by frame, you can see his feet are actually beside the vehicle at this point. And there is the first time he pulls the trigger, when again, both of his feet show that he has fully cleared the front of that vehicle. And then the next two shots happen here, and then here. Both of which, where he's very clearly having to aim through the driver's side window, and actually appears to be running after the vehicle to catch up to it. This, by the way, after very clearly signaling to the ICE officers to pass by her on that street, which she was very clearly not blocking nor obstructing, because moments earlier when she first started to pull out, another vehicle started pulling out similarly and crossed in front of her. So she was telling the next one to go on ahead. Not posing a threat, not obstructing nor impeding anything. Would you look at that?
See, although these people, you know, that are protesting about this, although they're right, they ain't wrong. But it don't matter. This is judgment of the Lord, okay? And you're all going to catch it. Because you're all wicked. You know, especially these Edomites, especially the ones siding with Trump. These MAGAs, they're the worst of the worst, man. But all of you had a chance, well, you Israelites all had a chance to get it right. You know? But if you wasn't one of the ones elected to be delivered from these times, then hey, it is what it is, man. You just ain't right. You ain't gonna get right. And you weren't chosen to get right. So there's nothing we can do for you. You know, we've been out here teaching, you know, what's going on, what's coming. And now you're seeing it manifest and you want answers. The answers have always been there, man. Oops, 1 second. Now, before I play this video, because, you know, I came across this yesterday, but this guy right here, he calls himself the conscious, I forget, the conscious something. I forget his name, but he's quite a famous, or quite, well, I wouldn't say famous, but popular social media influencer. And he's a very intelligent guy, I give him that. He studies a lot. And he always comes out with facts, but he's very proud. You can see the pride on the man. And he's had a few run-ins with Hebrew Israelites, and he's a proper scoffer, okay? So now he's even out here searching for answers when, like I said, the answers have always been there. But you, Mr. Conscious, whatever your name is, you're one of the ones that, you know, now is seeking answers when the answers were offered to you back in the day. And brothers did lessons on you. I remember you, and you was a hell of a scoffer, man. So you're going to get caught up in all of this too. Okay?
People need to stop. People need to stop using their vehicles as weapons. This domestic act of terrorism to use your vehicle to try to kill law enforcement officers is going to stop. And I'm asking the Department of Justice to prosecute it as domestic terrorism because it's clear that it's being coordinated. People are being trained and told how to use their vehicles to impede law enforcement operations and then to run over anybody who gets in their way while they go out there and try to disrupt peace and public safety. And Americans deserve better.
Americans deserve better. That woman just got up there and lied through her teeth and said what we seen in 4K ain't what we actually seen. When they tell me about Mussolini and Hitler and how they were able to trump up charges against individuals that were in opposition to them or being critical of them, I imagine this is what they was doing. We might be fucked, y'all. That was an American citizen, meaning all those life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and all those rights you have, they ain't mean nothing. They did not keep her alive. The woman was trying to get away and she was exterminated, and now she's being characterized as a domestic terrorist? We don't need them Democrats to do much more than write a strongly worded letter. What we seen on our camera phones is definitely going to be going down in history. And oh my God, what rights do we really have? The mayor of Minneapolis and the governor of Minnesota, Frey and Walls, they got to do something. They got to be able to protect the citizens of their state or let these fascists run road.
The scriptures say, woe unto them that go down to Egypt for help, man. And that's exactly what he's doing. That's the mind frame he's in. You know, we showed him the way. He scoffed, and he's getting ready to get caught up in this too. Okay? Because he's starting to panic now. He said, we may be effed, y'all. That's what he said in this little clip. He said, we may be effed, y'all. Hey, no shit, man. Okay, I'm gonna just say it. No shit. You are effed. All of you, man. Okay? Don't say we didn't warn you. Now, to close this lesson out, I just want to show you the outcome of all of this madness that's going on. Let's keep going. You people have no idea what's coming.
Standing against government oppression. And what happened? Not only were we dealing with police violence, we dealt with white supremacists showing up. Right. All on their side, saying everything.
So yeah. Let's get the scriptures, because the scripture said this would happen. The scripture said this would happen. Okay? 2nd Esdras chapter 9. And we're going to start at 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So the Lord is visiting this place, okay? And all these crazy things, these events that are happening back to back, World War, COVID, all of that, man. Everything that's been transpiring over the years and obviously it's picking up, it's ramping up. This is all part of the Lord visiting this place, man. He's visiting the world which he made. So in verse 3 it says, therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which you just witnessed, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So this has always been prophesied to happen, even from the beginning, man. This is a part of the story of this creation. And we know how it ends, us that have our head in this book. So we're the prudent that foreseeth the evil and hide ourselves. Just like I brought out earlier, man. You know, that in the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 3. The prudent man foresees the evil and hides himself. Okay. Verse 5, it says, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So now you can see that the end is here, man. This is it. If you ever wanted to know what the end of the world looked like, now you're witnessing it, man. Okay. So, I'm going to leave it there. I think I played all the clips that I had. You know, I tried to get through this. I didn't mean for this lesson to be so lengthy. But it is what it is, you know. But this is, I'm just informing you what's going on in the world and how it links up with biblical prophecy. And that the prophets always had it right. And we're going to always continue to have it right, you know. Not that it's us having it right, but the Lord is right. And we're just bringing out, you know, as the mouth of the Lord, we're bringing out what the Lord is saying. And showing you how much you can trust in the Lord. And that you need to put your trust in the Lord in the days we're coming into. Because I promise you, it is only going to get worse. So Lord willing, you've been edified by this lesson. I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Shalom.